Hi all, I want to show you this position. I found it interesting because it could be an endgame position where black king, the black king is in front of the pawn, so it seems like he is threatening to promote, and it seems like white has nothing best to do but to sacrifice the knight for the pawn and to get a draw here. Actually, that's what happens the most of the time when you have this kind of ending, knight versus pawn. But in this position, actually, white can do much better than draw. Actually, white can force a win. So I wonder if you can spot the way to checkmate black king, to force a checkmate. If you want to pause the video, do pause the video now. Okay, the way to proceed is to get our king closer to the enemy king in this position. As you can see, the king here is on the h file, and the knight is guarding the g2 square. So if we move our king closer, the black king would be trapped in the h file. So we do so by playing king f3 and not king f2. I will explain it later, but king f3. So the only move that black has is to play king h1, which will respond king f2 this time, because now again the only move that black has is king h2, sorry, because if he moves the pawn, well, this is pretty obvious, we have knight g3 checkmate. So the king is gonna go back and forth now on the square. So now we play king f1, forcing again another move, and this is really a key move because it seems like we're just playing with the black king, but actually it's really important because now we can play knight g3 check. So we can move the knight, and the black king will not move the pawn, trying to get stalemate next move. So the king has to go back to h2, and now we can play knight f5, and again now the king has no other choice but to go back to h1. So now we can play king f2, and again the pawn cannot advance, because if the pawn advances we have knight g3 checkmate. So king h2 again. Knight e3, the king has to go back to h1, knight f1. This is important to have the king in this position to f2, and that's why we have played king f3, to keep the opposition as it was. We did not have the opposition, so to speak, but if the king now would be on f1, because we had another move, well, the knight couldn't be on f1, and knight f1 really forces now the pawn to advance, and it gives the possibility of knight g3 checkmate. So that's how you win this position. It could seem like it's a drawn position. Actually it's not, but it only works if the king is about to get promoted. I mean, it's about, if the king were on the third rank, it wouldn't work. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little video. Thanks for watching.